Greetings and welcome to episode 245 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news and culture podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by the Saw winner himself, Mr. Dafford Moody.
How are we doing, everybody? I hope everyone is well. Are you well, Amy?
I'm alright.
Yeah, very good, very good. But we're not alone.
No, we're
time,
not.
Amy.
We're also joined by Foxes.
I
don't know his name.
We need a nick there. Red bearded man. I call him the red bearded man.
I don't. Or
the foxes on the run.
Well, I know he's red bearded fox. That's all I know.
He was the Mad Max of my podcast.
His real name is shrouded in mystery.
almost. Almost. Hi, I'm Fox, either way. I'm also known as Red Bearded Fox on social media. I am the glorious co-host of the glorious movie show with your one and only David Moody. I play some video games from time to time, mostly on PC. I've kind of like stepped away from the kind of like console world a little bit, but I try to keep an ear to it as much as possible. So, but I do my best.
I remember someone buying an Xbox One just to play Rainbow Six Siege a while back.
I did.
It wasn't just me either.
Nope. And then it went and promptly died on me.
Oh god, you killed it.
Yeah. It had that factory default fucked up drive, and so it doesn't boot anymore, and I'd have to like get it replaced or send it to a shop to get fixed, which I'd have to pay money for, which would I'd just rather buy a new one if I'm going to do anything with
there's
it.
a new version of it, you know that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's two actually. One's an S and one's an X.
Consoles? Who would play on consoles? Who would
only smart people?
Who would play games? You're absolutely right, Foxes.
Mm-hmm.
How is everybody? How's everybody's week been?
It's been okay, actually.
Been good. I've had a very good day.
Good.
I'm not bad at all.
Good.
I had fun on Tuesday when we had our little scare fest, and I've been good ever since.
Good. Yeah. We all played Phasmophobia, didn't we?
Yeah, It's always a fun time. Then we've got Among Us Saturdays coming up shortly. So, oh shit! I forgot the thing I always say, Amy.
I was waiting.
It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means.
I was timing you. It's a thing. He started it, and you know what? I just let him get on with it sometimes.
I was just kind of surprised. I was like, "Is it Friday?" I mean, but I think that's probably when the yeah. I caught on.
You ruined it, Foxes.
I caught on.
Don't ignore the date behind the curtain. It's fine. There's a state of play in
an hour and a half.
Those are my notifications. 1 hour and 36 minutes that we're not going to be able to talk about because it's in an hour and 36 minutes. Thanks, PlayStation.
See,
they did
Nintendo
it specifically for
right. Pokemon are doing it right, ladies and gentlemen. See? They're dropping it when we are not podcasting.
It's still going to be out before this. So, Pokemon ain't doing it any righter than PlayStation. I'll only forgive them if they announce Bloodborne 2.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, because then I'll have to get a new PlayStation.
I guarantee you this, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna happen eventually. Bloodborne 2 will get announced. When? Who knows? But that is gonna happen. I know people don't like to hear. I can guarantee. So I'll say I can 99% guarantee you this is gonna happen. Bloodborne made them a ton of money.
They're gonna
a ton of money, and they're also re-releasing it on PC. Rumored, isn't it? Or they are going to. So if they're going to do that, they are doing a Bloodborne 2.
They're going to announce Bloodborne 2 before PC even comes out, and I've been waiting.
You PC gamers, honestly.
I mean, for a game, actually, if I remember correctly, the year of the games for in that roster of when Bloodborne came out, Bloodborne was my game of the year. Like I think it even came out in the beginning of the year, and I was like, I don't care what comes out after this. As far as PlayStation goes, this is the game of the year, easy.
Early 2016, wasn't it?
15.
Something like that.
Oh, that was close. I
was an idiot and didn't play it for years. And then
did you beat it by chance? Actually,
twice.
That's what I'm talking about.
She beat it twice in like a weekend.
That's how good that game is. That's how you know.
Now
you just put it down.
Now I got foxes here. Your Bloodborne apathy is now outnumbered, Moody.
I've openly said myself, when I get a PlayStation 5, I will give it a go. I've said that, Amy.
Please stream it because I want to see you rage.
Well, me and Amy have plans, so if those plans happen, it will happen.
Yes.
So
happen.
That will happen if the plans happen for us. But no, yeah, we've got plans and everything like that, so we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
No, yeah, I beat it twice. I'm literally wearing a Bloodborne t-shirt.
Yes. Yes.
Well, as we're talking about Bloodborne
and
so
I
much,
made a 70-minute video about it.
I was just about to say, I think it's like maybe it's time to shout out that glorious little video you did about Bloodborne, Amy.
It's long, and it took a long time to make. And you should watch it. Someone's calling me.
This is a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch it now, even though you won't see this until Friday, if you watch it now, it'll be done. You'll have it done in time for the state of play.
just watch it to validate all of the work I put into it.
It was a glorious video, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely go and give it some love, give it those likes and shares, and hit that subscribe button at the Words About Game YouTube channel.
You got through Old Hunters?
The DLC, I didn't know.
Oh,
she hasn't completed it all, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
she's fake Bloodborne lover.
Thanks, Moody. I was literally just about to say, I knew there was a reason I kept you around because you do promo really well, and then you just stabbed me in the back.
Honestly, it's just more of what you love.
It looked it.
Honestly.
But I only bought the DLC after I finished it. I wanted to go back and do the platinum, so I was like, I'll just pick up the DLC when I do that. This isn't a Bloodborne podcast. So, as much as I try sometimes.
No, honestly, folks, this is how it goes when we start. We chat about
starts.
anything before we crack on into the juiciness.
Honestly, that was the most on-topic start we've had in months. More than likely.
Yeah, sometimes we go talk about games at the beginning.
Did I tell the story of the roller coaster at the beginning of a podcast once?
Yeah, one time you have, yes.
This is the Words About Games podcast. This week, we're discussing BioWare abandoning development on Anthem 2.0, new details on the next Dragon Age, the alleged chaos of Dying Light 2's development, and more. The timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube and in the description of wherever you get your audio podcasts. Except, what was the one that we never got on? Google. Yeah, except on Google.
Google taking their time.
I've got an Android watch, an Android phone, a YouTube account, but it's a Chromebook. But it's fine, Google. It's fine. You don't have to acknowledge my existence in any way. But there's timestamps in those descriptions on Spotify, the superior music playing service.
I apologize if you thought I was ignoring you there. I was not.
You're always ignoring me.
I never ignore you, Amy.
My computer's just told me that the Outriders demo drivers have been downloaded. And I'm like, that's cute. You think my computer could run Outriders?
I thought you were going to say my computer's telling me that you were ignoring me.
No.
I won't lie.
To be fair, Moody can't even ignore you whenever you're not even speaking to him. So we found that out.
He just follows me around going, Amy. Lights flashing, ghost coming out after us to kill us. Amy.
You will see a clip of that probably, ladies and gentlemen, on the highlights at the end of the month.
Come and see it because it's the end of the month this weekend. But let's talk about BioWare for now.
Yes, BioWare.
Our first news story. BioWare stops work on Anthem. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at gamesindustry.biz, who writes, Bioware has given up on Anthem. In a blog post today, executive producer Christian Daly said that the studio has halted development on Anthem and a proposed refresh of the game called Anthem Next. Daly didn't give a reason for the decision other than to say the COVID-19 pandemic, quote, has had an impact on our productivity and not everything we had planned as a studio before COVID-19 can be accomplished without putting undue stress on our teams. Game development is hard, Daly said. Decisions like these are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars The Old Republic. End quote. Anyone surprised that Anthem is dead?
No, to be honest with you.
You go first.
Side note, like, okay, might be a little cynical of me, but to be honest with you, like I have said many a time before, I'm just gonna be honest. Developers always say game development is hard. Yeah, it most definitely is. I have a friend here that can attest to it and actually give me reasons and understanding and a little bit of insight into actually how game development is actually hard. Why is it we're still not taking it seriously? I'm sorry, it kind of baffles me. It's like, game development's hard. It's like, yeah. This is like the 20 millionth time that you have told us. Okay, when are you gonna start taking it seriously and really crack down on why it's hard and like how it can be better and what we can make, decisions wise. But unfortunately, there is another side of that, and that comes with the publisher, I guess, whatever. The publishing side of it, and they want things that sometimes realistic demands just aren't good enough. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I don't know. It baffles me that there's like the developers keep saying game development is hard. It's like, we know, we keep getting told. But that's nothing to take away.
Yeah, Anthem's development was an absolute mess and a half. I give mad respect to the developers who were able to get the game in a state it was when it released, because they only did that. They did that within 18 months. Which, when everybody at the time literally thought they've had about at least minimum 3 to 4 years on this game to at least be developing in it and creating this world and everything, they didn't. They didn't start coding it and everything until 18 months before it was released and everything. And it's a mixture of bad publishing, bad management and everything, the whole shebang when it comes to the Bioware and Anthem. It's like, it was a complete mess and everything. And no, like what we said right at the beginning, no one is surprised by this. We both, I think both me and you and Amy, we talked about it when we heard that they were bringing it back and restarting it, and then hopefully trying to fix it and everything like that. But the longer it's gone on, I think we both came to the knowledge, like, this is probably not going to happen, is it? Type of thing. And I know you were I think you were there before we even 2.0 was announced, saying this is not and everything like that. But I was holding that for a little bit of hope, because the mechanics on that were amazing for that game. They did really good game mechanics for it. I give props to the mechanic, the core mechanic developers and everything for that. They did a really good job. But yeah, it was a shit show, and I feel for them like crazy. I do. I feel.
If I may ad-lib onto that a little bit, I completely agree with you. I think the mechanics in that game are like the best. In my personal opinion, it's the best part of the game. Like, in and of itself, doing the combos, doing the jumps and the flips and the flying, like all of it, so much fun. And that's what depresses me so much about it, is because, damn, now we have to wait around, and that's okay. Like, I'll be patient enough for a game to take that and harness that and kind of use the same thing, even though people are like, oh, it's just an Anthem clone. I won't care, because if those kind of game mechanics came around for a game that was complete and actually and there's no malice there in me saying that, but in a sense of like, you gave me a full package with these mechanics, I'll be cheering, in all honesty, because what game has came out that makes you feel like Iron Man better than Anthem so far? I don't know.
Wasn't the Iron Man VR game, I've heard.
No, yeah. So
but...
yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, I kind of do hope that something gets established from it, kind of sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe you get to fly around in Iron Man armor in the next Dragon Age.
It's a skin, but you actually get the functionality of it. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, Mass Effect could be good.
I think they'll take that to Mass Effect. You already kind of suited it with. You already showed it off a little bit, kind of with Andromeda, because you had those thruster mechanics and everything. I could see him transferring that over into the next Mass Effect.
As much as I like 2, Andromeda, I feel like has some of the best verticality movement, shooting mechanics, and a part of Mass Effect since 2. To be honest with you, Andromeda, I feel like had felt really good to play. It just sometimes it got bogged down by optimization or bugs. So.
It's funny you said that, Fox, because someone on this panel right now might have done a Mass Effect Andromeda video about almost 6 months to a year ago now on this channel at Words About Games.
6 months? How do you think how time works?
I don't know. To a year. It's been a long year already.
It's February.
Yes, it's been a long year already, but no. Amazing video of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. It's one of my most commented on videos of all time for some reason. Yeah. Video game development is hard. I agree.
Yeah.
It's really even harder when you rely on Bioware magic. So maybe for your next game, Bioware, don't do that.
Maybe not label something that actually doesn't technically exist. It's just more like a happenstance.
Oh, we've somehow managed to cobble together great games at the last minute 3 times in a row. This is a sustainable business model. No, it's not. Oh well.
Agreed.
Not.
Anthem's still going to kick around, so you can play it in its current state whenever you want.
It's interesting because I know that there are people who still play this game. I mean, very few, but there are still people who play this game. And it's not like it's one of those things that the people who are playing it are streaming it, because Twitch, obviously, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. The streaming realm, I should say. A lot of people think that gaming in and of itself revolves around, with that. Granted, yes, they're kind of cohesive in a way now. But to be honest with you, there's still player bases that aren't accounted for, that still continue to play certain games that either that aren't streamed or you don't get an actual accounting, for lobbies and whatnot. So to be honest with you, I'm sure there are people probably going to still be around to play this game, even though I'm sure it's dwindling. And now, given that Anthem Next is not going to be a thing, maybe even close to even dwindling to death. But at the same point, I'm glad that there are enough people who enjoyed what this game played like.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if we hear in a year's time that they'll be shutting it down.
True.
And then all that money all those people paid will be worthless. Video games.
Am I right?
Am I right? Let's keep talking about video games. Electronic Arts removes multiplayer mode from Dragon Age game in big pivot. This is from Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg. He writes, there it is. Video game publisher Electronic Arts has made a major pivot on the next game in the popular Dragon Age series, allowing the developers to remove all planned multiplayer components from the game, according to people familiar with the matter. Dragon Age is a series of fantasy games from the EA-owned developer Bioware. The next Dragon Age, which doesn't yet have an official title or release date, had previously been designed with a heavy multiplayer component, said the people, who asked not to be named because they were not authorized to speak to the press. In recent months, it has transformed into a single-player-only game after EA was stung by a recent multiplayer flop. The diverging trajectories of 2 recent games changed the minds of Wilson and other executives at EA, according to the people. It just says, according to the people, I just picture the giant mob. the people. And
With the pitchforks and fires and everything.
One was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a single-player game released in November 2019 that won critical acclaim and outperformed EA's sales expectations, reaching more than 10 million players in its first 4 months. The second was Bioware's Anthem, a multiplayer game that was widely panned when it launched. The game showed that single-player games could still be lucrative and that Bioware, traditionally known for its single-player role-playing games, might be better off returning to its roots. A spokesman for EA declined to comment. The next Dragon Age first entered development in 2015, but in the fall of 2017, EA and Bioware rebooted the game to push for long-term monetization. The change led to the departure of creative director Mike Laidlaw and caused some employees to dismiss the game as Anthem with Dragons. EA announced the new Dragon Age in 2018, but has not shared many details since then. Behind the scenes, the game has been in flux, games website Kotaku reported. During development, some members of BioWare's leadership team fought to pivot the next Dragon Age back to a single-player only game, according to the people familiar with the discussions. BioWare has also been working on a new game in the sci-fi Mass Effect series, as well as a remaster of the original Mass Effect trilogy, which will be out in May. I told you! I told you it was supposed to be a multiplayer. I knew it! I knew it!
I knew, yeah. You were saying it, and you were right. And I was saying many times, like I said offline to Fox, I was saying, every time we saw that trailer, every time I came out of it, I was like, oh, God, it looks multiplayer. It looks games of a service. I said that myself. Oh my God, though, Amy, I was so happy when I saw this. So Jason Schreier to the bloody rescue, doing the badass reporting out there like he always does. Even if people don't like him sometimes, I don't care. He saved one of my favorite franchises out there.
This is Jason Schreier who did this.
Jason Schreier did this. Yeah,
grabbed BioWare's creative director by the head and said, "Listen, mate."
No, he grabbed all of
Andrew Wilson by the head. And
yeah, Andrew Wilson. Yo, dude, we got to talk. But but also, shout out to Fallen Order. Like I said, I enjoyed that game. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's as good as what everyone screamed it out to be. But shout out. It did everything what we were hoping it to do, and I'm glad to hear that they are pivoting. I won't lie. I'm curious when they've pivoted, because if they've pivoted, say the last since just after Fallen Order came out and everything like that, that means this game I would say is still probably 3 years out. If they pivoted before that, I'm still going to say we're still probably 3 years out for this game. But,
in recent months. That's what it says, in recent months.
Yeah. So, this game's going to be delayed for a while now, which is fine. Take your sweet ass time and everything.
You might get Mass Effect first.
How weird would that be? How weird would that be? That would be interesting if that happened. But no, take your time. I'm happy about this. I can't wait to go back to that world. Like I was saying before Christmas last year, before we finished with the Christmas holidays, I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition on and off. I've loved it as always. It's like one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm really happy about this. Thank you, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Thank you, Star Wars.
Thank you for your
Star
service.
Wars. Thank you for your service, Star Wars. Thank you. You're coming back into the fray of goodness. Mandalorian Season 2, fabulous. And everything like that. Thank you, Star Wars. But no, I'm really happy about this.
How's you feel, Foxes?
First of all, Moody 2 right. Thank you, Star Wars.
Thank you, George Lucas.
Thanks, Respawn.
Thank you, Disney.
So, side note, I thoroughly enjoy Inquisition. I never really understood why it got panned so hard as soon as it came out. Like, I don't know if it was like a bug issue or something like that, or like what it may be, but I thought the game was perfectly fun, good looking, and had a lot of mechanics and really good just RPG material inside of a game, which actually ran pretty damn well, to be honest with you. I am, however, I don't know if I'm a few, but I do actually enjoy the multiplayer component. I enjoy the whole idea of like just like PvE a session of like like people just like, yeah, let's go run a session of like just fucking shit up, and maybe it's hard, it's actually really difficult, and we gotta actually kind of be somewhat, I guess, tactical about it, quote unquote. Because I played a lot of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and that legitimately was difficult sometimes. Like, that was actually a good time that I had with friends, just playing like the different roles and the different stuff that you can do. Inquisition a little bit less so, just because it felt a little bit vanilla. But for the most part, I did enjoy it. It's like, sure, I'm sad to see it go, but I also don't mind that as well, because I played Origins, and that didn't have a multiplayer component. If I'm pretty sure it didn't.
No, Origins was like a throwback RPG when it came out.
Yeah, Origins was really good, and when I played Inquisition, it gave me the feelings of Origins, but also if I wanted it's ARPG-ish side of it, from 2, even though I'm not a big fan of 2. You had that as well, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad that they're focusing back on single player only. It's good.
If there's two things I'm rapidly getting sick of in the video game industry, well, there's many things, but if there's two types of games, I'm rapidly getting sick of in the video game industry, it's open world games and live service games.
I don't blame you.
I'm currently playing Persona 5 Strikers, which is neither of those things, and it's the best fucking thing I've played in months.
I've been playing Monster Hunter World, and while that's like not open worldish, but like large open area,
it's
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's like Dragon Age Origins, right? Or it's just like it's areas,
exactly,
as opposed to like a giant open world filled with shit that nobody wants.
Exactly.
But they get the trophies if they collect them, and also you get a plus 2% power up to your melee attack if you collect all 63 feathers.
Gotta get every star, every question mark, every exclamation point, every coin. Oh my god, who fucking cares?
Thank you.
Sorry.
I think we're gonna get on well in this podcast, Foxes. For now, let's talk about Dying Light 2. Remember Dying Light 2?
Yeah, I picked it for Fantasy Critic last year.
Nobody picked it this year. I don't know anyone is going to. The development of Dying Light 2 has been total chaos, according to the report. This is from Andy Chuck over at PC Gamer. He writes, Dying Light 2 has had its share of struggles since it was announced almost 3 years ago at E3 2018. Developer Techland made some very big promises regarding the impact of individual player choice on gameplay and outcomes, which would demand multiple playthroughs for anyone who wanted to see more than half of the content it offered. But a planned release for spring 2020 was missed, and a new release date hasn't been set. The game also lost its lead writer, Powell Selinger, who departed earlier this year after more than 20 years at the studio. A new report on Techland published by The Gamer suggests that the project may be floundering largely due to problems at the studio, particularly regarding the autocratic management style of CEO Powell Marchuka. The CEO. Interviews with 10 current and former employees allege problems including an over-reliance on external consultants who lack experience in the games industry, whose advice is often ignored anyway, conflict at the production level, a high rate of staff turnover, and micromanagement that some developers characterized as, quote, the eye of Sauron, end quote, which has collectively had the effect of stripping the game of a coherent vision. Quote, Techland has a history of hiring people for which the team had high hopes, but it ended up in nothing, one source said. One such case for the designers was the hiring of Mark Albany, a former game director from Ubisoft that was supposed to restructure how design is done in the studio. Even he, a veteran with 30 years of experience, couldn't break through upper management that is harder to change than the spin of the fucking earth, end quote.
Oh, damn. Wow. Damn.
New hires and consultants who don't follow the company line end up sidelined, according to another source, which ultimately leads to their resignation or termination. Quote, to make a career at Techland, you have to be subservient, end quote. Techland's insistence on using its own internal technology to power the game is also a stumbling block, according to some employees. Dying Light uses the Chrome engine, a proprietary 3D engine developed by Techland, but after the first game was released, the chief development officer at the time, Powell Zawodny, wanted development of the sequel to be iterated in a more widely used engine like Unreal or Unity before bringing their work to the Chrome engine. Masquerade, however, insisted on everything being done in Chrome Engine 6. Quote, "It slowed everyone down and that frustrated everyone. He would ask why people aren't working faster, and it was because the tech isn't up to speed. We can work faster, but we have to go here, and you're not allowing us to go there. The experts know what the goal is, and they should be allowed the flexibility to do what's best." End quote. Zawodny, who now heads up CD Projekt Red's Rawclaw studio, brought on consultants of his own to help build a more conventional workflow, but many of their suggestions were apparently not adopted. The system as it currently stands, one employee told The Gamer, is, quote, "a production pipeline that changes so quickly and rapidly that it might as well not exist," end quote. More producers have been hired to help get the wheels turning, but reportedly often find their efforts blocked by veteran employees. The report touches on a range of other issues, such as producers interfering in design decisions. One source said producers on Dying Light 2, quote, "cannot hold the pipeline or milestones together, but they have time to redesign or argue about design," end quote. And constant micromanagement from upper management, which collectively points to an atmosphere of chaos and aimlessness at the studio and on Dying Light 2. Quote, "What's going on at Techland is just total chaos, not iteration. There are plenty of examples where there is someone responsible for a given feature, like a game director decides on something, but Paiza, creative director Adrian Paiza-Sizowski, and Marshuka just override this because of some bullshit reason, like they've seen something working differently in other games, so we can do it like that," end quote. Marshuka defended the studio and its processes, saying, quote, "The trust and the flow of ideas in a large organization is a complex issue. We are currently working on creating an innovative game that millions of players around the world will love, and thus we are constantly looking for methods that allow us to improve the transmission of fresh and interesting ideas. However, not every idea is a good idea for this project, and only the best and consistent ones with the vision of the project will be implemented in our game," end quote.
If you don't already have the idea you wanted for this game, you have fundamentally messed up this game.
That's
You have
kinda...
his quote is literally saying what people are already saying. Like
Still
he's
trying to
seen
figure
other
this game out.
games do things, and he's thought, "Oh, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that." And he said, I want it all in my game," and everyone's like, "This will fundamentally fuck up your game."
After they've warned him that, you know, the tech that they're using is not...
It's garbage.
It's not up to
bad.
speed and literally not up to par with, you know, like what it is that they want. And that's why they wanted to try it in other engines, and maybe even that engine would even do better, or they would get a good understanding of it and then be able to implement it in theirs. Sorry.
Incredibly bad management here. Incredibly bad management.
Agreed.
Does it not just feel like Groundhog Day sometimes? Like I feel like I'm reading this story and I've read bits of it before, and I've never read this story before. Like, I mean, I have read it once when I was putting it in the document, but it's like when I was reading it and then I was like, have I read this bit before? Have I read this entire story before? No, I haven't. I haven't read it before today. No, it's just that it's the same fucking story all over again, right? With like Bioware and NetherRealm and Telltale and
CD
Rockstar
Projekt Red,
and CD Projekt Red and
Fox
list
has
goes
gone more
on.
Reddit than normal.
Fox is
Oh, did
enters
I?
rage
yeah,
mode.
It's a rage mood.
That's that's my Chrome background. It's all red.
Ironically enough, so is the background of this podcast.
It's funny. It's I'm sorry for butting in, but it's so sad because this is legitimately like I had very few games on my list that I was like, I am excited for this, this, and this. Like I think maybe all of 5 that I was like, yes, this is what I'm looking forward to, and this is like what I'm hoping for. But it seems like every time that I pick something, there always seems to be some kind of development problem or whatever the fuck, because, you know, they just can't fulfill on their promise, or, you know, there's some breakage, either the people who are working on it or just, you know, overall not completing the actual thing in its entirety. But it makes me really sad because it's like, okay, while I was under the assumption that, you know, the reason it was on hiatus was possibly due to COVID, or, you know, the work constrictions of, you know, however many people that you have working on it, come to find out it's another bullshit thing again about, you know, too many hands, or actually no, sorry, wrong metaphor. Too many cooks in the kitchen, and also really bad management of it.
Yeah, like I'm starting to think that a lot of like big game developers, studios, can fix most of their problems if they fire most of their management, because it seems to be that management seems to be the problem, like in a lot of these stories that we're reading, and this one's no different. Like reading halfway through, where it's like, at one point, their solution was to hire more producers, like because that's going to make things better, right? It's like the producers we've currently got are causing chaos. Let's hire more. Oh no, that didn't work.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't this kind of what happened to Dead Island 3 too? There's too many cooks in the kitchen, no actual vision of basically how they wanted to put it all together, and so therefore it just crumbled.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
There was a developer working on Dead Island 2 at one point, and then they got shit canned. I actually played that version of Dead Island 2. It was at EGX.
Oh yeah, it's considered Dead Island 2 because Dead Island the second game is like Riptide, isn't it, or something like that?
No, there was I played Riptide. That was hilariously bad game. There was a demo for Dead Island 2 after, when they did the reveal trailer of the guy running down the street.
Mm-hmm.
There was a demo.
Still a good trailer.
It's a good trailer. There was a demo for it, and the demo wasn't that bad. But
I wish I would have gotten to actually play that demo, so I could have seen like what it is that they were working with a little bit.
It's been that long. I'm pretty sure it's been like 6 years since I did that. Like, no one believes me anymore. But it was there. It was there, and I played it. It was at the top of the escalator at Earl's Court. But yeah, I think something similar happened there. But it's like Techland were never making Dead Island 2 because they went off and did Dying Light, which was a pretty good game.
I love the first one. I actually just recently played it, I think last year, with a friend because they never fully completed it, and then we also did the following expansion. Actually, really solid expansion. I mean, it's not I wouldn't say it's like a full game's worth, as far as expansions go, but it introduced new things to their world that fit pretty well and was also pretty nice, to be honest with you. Like whether it be the buggy or just like the different types of enemies and like the different I guess technically like the different branching story, even though it's not really kind of branching. I enjoyed it. That was pretty good, and their cutscenes somehow actually got even better in the expansion. Like it was actually really surprising. I'm like, how do you make this game look better?
No, I enjoyed Dead Island as well. That was a fun multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
That I played once a long time ago, when I was a PC gamer. And I didn't know any better. Shall we move on?
Sure.
I see Moody's just bursting to talk about Dying Light and how much he loves it. Are you wearing your Fudge That Fudge t-shirt?
Yeah, Fudge That Fudge. Fudge That Fudge, Amy.
Couldn't see it before because of the belt. Let's move on. You might have heard me react to this news story as I was reading it. Scream that ripped into the fabric of reality. Vampire the Masquerade. Knock my microphone over. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 developer removed. Game delayed out of 2021. This is from Jordan Ollerman over at IGN, who writes, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed out of 2021, with developer Hardsuit Labs no longer leading the game's development. The news was revealed in publisher Paradox Interactive's 2020 year-end report. Paradox revealed it has started a collaboration with a new studio partner to finish work on the game. In a statement issued by the Bloodlines 2 Twitter account, Paradox said that in order to meet its ambitions for the game, the publisher came to the conclusion that, quote, a change is needed and, as a result, more development time is required, end quote. Paradox thanked Hardsuit Labs for its work on the game so far, quote, the studio has done a tremendous job laying the foundations for the game, and we hope that you, the community, will also appreciate their contribution to Bloodlines 2, end quote. The year-end report indicates that the studio will finish work on the game, meaning this doesn't seem to be a full restart for development. Bloodlines 2 was initially pegged to launch in Q1 2020, but was postponed to later in the year before being officially delayed into 2021 in August of 2020. This was just the start of the game's development troubles, as later that month, the game's narrative lead and creative director were dropped from the project unexpectedly. The game's senior narrative designer left shortly after in October. The publisher can no longer pin down a release date for the game due to the development reshuffle, so Paradox has decided to stop taking pre-orders for Bloodlines 2. Quote, "As soon as we can, we'll let you know what the future development team of Bloodlines 2 will look like," end quote. There we go, that's it. I won't even read that last sentence. IGN will keep you updated on any developments in the story. Fuck.
This is your game, Amy. This is your game.
Fuck. At least there's no rush now on me doing a retrospective of the first game. But still, fuck. I knew something was wrong. I said it last October.
You did. When we spoke about it last time, you did.
When everybody got fucking shit canned or left. Not everybody, but the people that were mentioned. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. And I remember I was on the podcast with Patrick. And I say it got like panicking, and then he did like the verbal metaphor of like slapping me in the face, telling me to calm down, and it worked. And then the stuff happened where it got delayed, and it was like, oh, I panicked again, and I was right to panic because shit's fucked. Just got rid of the developer.
And you know what's the worst part about it is that you just made the joke about, is this Groundhog's Day? The response and literally how all this is setting itself up is something that we have definitely read before for other damn projects, and it's just like, do y'all have a copy pasta of how it is that you respond to us about what is going on with your game? Because I feel like I've definitely read this before, and I don't even have to have a feeling. I think I can go back to an article of where I have seen this in a different fucking game, just to be honest.
They're asking, can they copy their homework? Oh, can I copy your homework?
Just copy
it up just to be a little bit different.
Just copy one of the sentences and then paste it into Google and just see all these different announcements for all these different games just pop up.
So I have no I have no interest in the game whatsoever. I didn't even play the first one. This came out before my time.
Played the first one. That's why it took 20 plus years to get the second one.
But I know Amy's been incredibly excited for this game. She loves the first one, and I was going to be playing this game when it came out because obviously I was thinking, one of my best friends out there loves the franchise. I'm going to give it a good go. So I'm disappointed. It's terrible to hear that they're moving developers. It's just like, what the hell has gone back? It's like the same as the last story. What management has fucked up here? What crazy management has not kept this on board and everything like that, and they've completely messed it all up? Because 9 times out of 10, we can always say it's never the developers, like the people who are creating the game. It's always the higher ups. It's always the producers or the managements who are trying to get the people to create these games for their quote unquote vision. And it's a hard ass clusterfuck again, isn't it? And it's just like, whenever this game comes out, I hope it's brilliant for everybody who wants this franchise and everything like that. Like, especially for you, Amy, and whatnot. But damn, I'm disappointed for you. I really am. But then I'm just like, what the hell's going on here, man? It really is. See, Rage Man's come back. See, Foxes is back. Rage Man.
Foxes smash. I think something went down last year, right? And then
definitely. And
then this is just the fallout of whatever happened last year. I'll be interested to see who the new developer is, obviously, because I am still interested in the game. My expectations of it have dropped significantly.
Plummeted,
maybe, like you might say. Like, I no longer expect this game to be good, so much as I'm kind of hoping it's good.
I'll just say, if you hear it's me, be afraid. Be very afraid, because I want to know about this game. I'm like, what?
But no, like I hope Hard Suit Labs is a studio, and the people who are there are gonna be okay after getting shit canned off this game, because I don't know what else they really had going for them. Because this was their pitch. They pitched this to Paradox. It wasn't Paradox hired them, so that makes it even weirder. That's the situation.
Well, the only thing you can think of is that the Paradox obviously have paid them, so they would have got paid to do this type of thing and everything. Like it just all depends on obviously. You got to think now, as they've lost development, they will no longer probably get the extended royalties for the game when it was going to come out. I'm guessing there, like I say, contract shit and all like that. I do not know anything about. They might still get. You would think they would still get credit because they've worked on the game, unless they completely pan everything they've created and they just start anew again. Then this game is at least going. I'm literally saying now is 4 years out, Amy. Sorry. I can be the bearer of bad news sometimes.
It's fine.
I never played the original.
No one did.
And I true. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, it came out between two games. What was it?
Half-Life 2
you can come out between Metal Gear Solid 3, wasn't it?
It came out on the same day as Half-Life 2.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Oof. Yikes.
Yikes.
It's like coming out. Jesus.
That would be like being a game like called Alan Wake and coming out on the same day as Red Dead Redemption, which also happened.
That'd be like being called Titanfall 2 and literally getting released alongside Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty.
In between Call of Duty as well.
Oh man,
idiots.
And wasn't it in Fallout? And Fallout 4 was coming that year as well.
Tomb Raider got absolutely destroyed because it came out on the same day as Fallout 4.
Yeah. Yep. And Tomb Raider 2 was a great game. That's the thing about it.
Yeah. Well, they all were. Alan Wake, Vampire, Titanfall, Tomb Raider. These are all good games. They just they get released next to Titans. And the worst part about it is, if Fallout 4 wasn't even that good.
The whole World of Darkness, because like that's kind of like their series and what it's a part of. I know that like there's still some developers and projects. As a matter of fact, I think there was a game that just recently came out that's tied to it. I think it's called like Werewolf something or whatever. That I think it's like part of it as well. I know they're really, really wanting this whole kind of like ecosystem of this series to really, really, flourish and like at the same time still try to maintain, I guess its core fan base, quote unquote. But I will say that it's interesting because I actually quite like Hardsuit Labs. I enjoyed their after a while it became free to play, but it was called Retribution. It was like a first-person shooter that was actually pretty good.
Launch title.
Yeah, I think it was called Retribution or something like that. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Blacklight Retribution.
Blacklight. Yep. That's exactly what it was called. Thoroughly enjoyed it. When I heard that they were taking on this, I was like, this is a very big deal, because to be honest with you, there's still quite a few people who really enjoy this world and series. They either play the tabletop games or play the old games that they're still like the first Vampire the Masquerade or the other werewolf game.
Werewolf, Mage, the Hunter, Reckoning. There's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. I hope that they can keep people's interest, because if it dwindles for too long, people will just cancel their sales or just forget, to be honest with you. And that sucks, because this is a very interesting IP, and I hope that nothing worse even happens to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the World of Darkness is a really interesting setting. As somebody who's played the tabletop and the previous video games, and it's just steeped in at one point or another in the lore of the world. The world is fascinating, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with it if you choose to. So, hopefully, next year it comes back with a big bang and it makes a big wave, and everything will be fine. But hey, maybe everything won't be fine, and it's fine. I'm prepared for that. I've been suitably prepared for that now. Let's talk about PlayStation for a bit in this episode, where State of Play didn't exist and didn't happen.
Yeah.
First of all, Sony confirms PSVR 2 is coming to PS5 along with a new VR controller. This is from Reese Wood over at Tech Radar, who writes, PSVR 2 has entered the room. PlayStation fans excited for what PS5 has in store for virtual reality have some new details to peruse. Published on the official PlayStation blog, the piece is billed as an introduction to PSVR 2, revealing the first details of what we can expect from VR on the PS5. The post states that the PlayStation VR team has taken on board lessons it's learned from the original device, which launched as a peripheral for the PS4 back in 2016. The improvements the team is focusing on include better resolution and field of view, as well as upgrades to the device's tracking and input capabilities. Perhaps best of all, the PlayStation VR on the PS5 will be connected by a single cord. This is a far cry from the PS4, where multiple wires and adapters were required. The new single cord connection should make for a less cluttered and more safer play space. Another big focus for the team has been on a new VR controller which will integrate innovations found in the PS5 DualSense controller. No specifics beyond that were given, but it's possible these features will include the DualSense's haptic feedback and have similar ergonomics. I was just 2 months early on a prediction. The prediction for this. 2 months early. I said it was going to happen last year and it didn't. Where they were like, this is the new PlayStation VR and it's going to have new controllers because the Move controllers from the PS3 are fucking terrible. Why did you think that was a good idea?
Honestly, it was because it was to make it
cheap.
To make cost cheaper, yeah, cost cuts. So they can make it under 400 quid, so they can have it under 399.
They cost cut too much because fuck me.
Now they've decided clearly that this tells me, because the brand new controllers, this is going to be a 499 headset. It's going to be 500 quid, just like the disc version of the PlayStation 5 and everything. But I digress. We all knew this was coming eventually. It was either going to be sometime this year or sometime next year we were going to hear about it. I thought we were going to hear about it within now and the next 18 months. This tells me it's probably further along than we've all thought. I think we've all thought this is pretty far.
I always thought it was pretty far along.
Yeah, you did, yeah. So it's definitely further along, just like Amy thought it was. This is great to hear. Hopefully this is like I hear mostly for the most part. I always heard good things about PlayStation VR. I know it was never to the level of like what Valve are throwing out and all like that.
Well, yeah, I mean the index is like $1,000 virtual reality headset.
Yeah. But obviously PlayStation VR was obviously with convenience because it was cheaper and it did everything you needed it to do and everything. And if this is the same one but better, that's even better. With the new controllers and everything, that'll be fantastic. So yeah, great news to hear about this.
Yeah.
So this will give you a little indication of how much I know about VR. I didn't know that the PSVR, the first one, had more than one cable or cord connected to the things that you have on.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That sounds terrible.
It wasn't.
But it came out.
It
came out when all the rest had a lot of cables, though.
No, this was excessive.
Well, to be fair, I think the index came out a little bit later, which is mostly cordless. But there was the other one that they had, the first initial one that Valve came out. That while it did have like a few cords, it wasn't. It didn't seem like as cumbersome. But granted, this is me watching people play with it versus actually like trying it out.
I think myself, you mean the Vive, the HTC Vive, which
Vive. That's exactly what I was thinking
which
of.
my friend has, and it's like I started off with PlayStation VR, because it just seemed like a good idea, and yeah, it was a nightmare to set up.
Like for something that you're supposed to be quite mobile with, I couldn't imagine like having all these cords up against you or like walking in them or like whatever it may be.
They all sort of come off the back of the headset, but when there's a few of them, they're all sort of like together. It's like, but when there's a few of them, they start separating and stuff. It can like any wired virtual reality headset can be a pain. That's why the Oculus Quest, the wireless one, is so popular. With virtual reality players, because it's a wireless headset. That's amazing. And I want one. Unfortunately, I just have the OG Oculus complete with gigantic wire that comes out of it.
But yeah, that's good that they're actually reconsidering it and actually putting putting better resources to it, so that way that people can have a much more fun experience, and maybe actually get more people into VR, and hopefully not be. Even though, I agree with you. I think there'll probably be a price adjust and an increase more than likely. It would still be somewhat manageable for those who do want to get into the sort of realm.
Yeah.
Just that again. Which is the wireless one? The Oculus
Quest. Yeah,
what, one or two?
Quest 2, both. So I don't know why. The Quest 2
okay.
was just the new one. Remember the Quest? Remember, I was going to get a Quest 2 if I couldn't get a PS5 pre-order.
Yes, you were.
And we
all
know how that turned out. Hello, shiny PlayStation. The Quest 2 is not actually that bad.
I've seen one here at Curry's PC World for 265 megabytes or gigabytes, just say, £400.
Yep, you can get the 60.
That's the price of the PlayStation VR.
You can get the 64 gigabyte version for 300. So
that's really not that bad.
And you don't need a PC. You don't need a VR ready PC to play it.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because it's its own platform.
Okay.
But I'm
surprised
its own star as
that
well.
thing wouldn't overheat or something like that, or maybe they figured out the sync issues. Interesting. Okay.
I haven't heard of anyone getting their face burned off by it, so it must be fine.
That's fair.
I need to take a second to not talk about Gran Turismo 7 because I just got an email from Jeff Keighley at Summer Game Fest. Which I feel like I'm just going to break in and we should talk about this. Which reads, it's true. While it might be cold or snowy where you are, there's some good news ahead. Summer is coming. As a subscriber to this mailing list, we wanted you to have the inside scoop. Summer Game Fest will return this summer with video game news, digital events, demos, and more from the world's top game developers, publishers, and platforms. Stay tuned for more information. Thanks, Jeff.
I'll see it on the site. Turns 2021, it says. Yep.
Just as we were talking about VR, I literally looked down at my watch because it vibrated and it literally had Jeff Keighley's name on it. I was like, what the fuck?
That'd have been funny. That'd have been funny if his face came up too. He's just like,
So Sony Game Fest is going to be back.
Nice.
On top of
Awesome.
E3 being back, or maybe they're the same thing. Who knows? We'll find out.
They really should be the same thing. Yeah, if I was E3, I would be literally trying to get Jeff Keighley back and everything, and make sure it's all under one house compared to what it was last year. Because even though at the beginning, me and Zimmy have said many times, we were like, "Oh yes, this sounds amazing," and everything, and
4 whole months of game news.
It dragged like crazy because deep down by the end of it, we were just like, we want to know what the stuff about Xbox, and we want to know stuff about PlayStation 5. And when those things happened, yay! Even though the Microsoft ones was not yay as much, really.
No, there were some good indie games as well. But the trouble is out of all of the showcases, there was 400 indie games, and it was there was 20 that really piqued my interest that I didn't already know about.
Yeah,
it's a lot to wade through.
It is. It really is.
Sizzle reels are good, actually. But anyway, sorry about that. Let's get back on track and talk about Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo 7 release date pushed back to 2022 because of COVID. There we go. I just read the whole news story. Sometimes I do this, by the way, Fox has said. I will deem that I don't need to actually read the words.
I think you said yourself, didn't it, that you thought this wasn't coming this year?
You mean when Russell drafted it on Fantasy Critic?
Yeah,
and I said that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, you thought it wasn't coming this year and everything like that.
A series that was notorious for being delayed as Final Fantasy.
That's true. The guy likes the creator likes to take a sweet ass time with this game and everything. But it always comes out and it's always an amazing success for PlayStation. They always do amazing numbers for this game.
I one of the franchises for PlayStation where like every single game that came out has at least a positive review. Like if not unanimously, like everyone loves it. You know, who does play it. You know, it just gets like 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. You know, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's well loved. Yeah.
For it to be as polished and as many people that like this sort of thing. Hey, you take your time. Fuck it. You know.
Yeah, make the best
Sorry
game that you can make.
for interrupting.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast's for, Foxes. Don't worry about it.
And then the first year of the new consoles is always a bit of a slow burn. It always is. Even though they come out and say next year, or something like that, you're just like, yeah, but how many really are next year?
Launch window.
Come on, Microsoft. How many are really next year? How big is this launch window, Microsoft? How big is this launch window, Sony? Come on.
Wink is Halo
wink.
next year.
No.
Oh, if that drops, if that gets pushed to next year, oh my god, I'm literally, like I said offline, I'm coming back on social media for work, college, and work reasons. I will literally hop off it if Halo gets pushed. I will literally run for the hills.
9 months from now, the three of us will be playing Halo Infinite together on Twitch.
Sweet. Here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll still be a Halo fan.
Even if I have to steal it from Microsoft.
As long as it has a run mechanic, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll fucking kill you. I will fucking kill you.
I like the run in Halo.
I will burn your fucking house down.
Trust me, it's all about if it's good or not, Foxes. It's about something different what I'm saying there.
So obviously it's gonna be a conversation that we're gonna have to have another time, but I have to because I think the last time I was talking, I talked to you both actually about Halo. You were in the middle of your actual playthrough of the games, and if I remember correctly, the last time I remember Moody being quite critical of them and Halo, and having it basically boiled down on Amy just being like, I'm just gonna finish this game.
He was critical of them, I can handle. Every 20 seconds, talking about the lack of a fucking sprint feature, which hadn't been invented yet in video games.
Mario had it in its first goddamn game.
I will fucking burn your entire house down, Moody, if I have to listen to you talk about running. In 2021.
So,
fun fact for one of my units, I'm literally doing a running mechanic.
Did you ever end up getting to 3 where they actually had it as an equipment?
Yeah, we actually got there. Yeah,
we got
Good.
we got the 4.
We got a 4.
Okay.
We didn't do 5.
We didn't do 5 because someone's internet died when we were meant to stream it, and someone's didn't download the game in time.
Yeah, I thought the game was in the Master Chief Collection, and it wasn't.
It's not.
It's a separate.
It's
separate.
It must have. Okay.
Because it was an Xbox
I
One
think
game.
it's. Okay, gotcha. It's
Yeah.
it's a part of it now, isn't it? Because I think that's how
No.
I'm playing it.
No.
No,
But
Okay.
it's all part of Game Pass anyway.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
okay.
doesn't really
Gotcha.
matter anymore.
It's all under the same hood and everything. So
Reach and
yeah.
ODST and everything else is part of the Master Chief Collection.
Okay. Gotcha.
One day, Amy, when we've got that amazing internet,
Yeah.
just download the game instantly. Boom.
I'm going to skip talking about this because I feel like it's going to come up again next week when we talk about the state of play that's happening in like 37 minutes.
Can we skip the next one as well? Do I have to talk about the studio again?
You want to skip this to the next one? All right, cool. Upcoming
shit,
Harry
no,
Potter
I'm
game
taking it back.
keeps brewing trouble. This is from Patricia Hernandez over at Polygon. Who writes, Hogwarts, you fucked yourself there, Moody. Hogwarts Legacy, the upcoming open-world Harry Potter video game set in the wizarding world of the 19th century, won't be released until 2022. But the game keeps getting mired in controversy. Last year, publisher Warner Bros. Had to clarify that Harry Potter creator J.K. wasn't directly involved in the making of the game, following a string of transphobic comments from the author. And now the political views of one of the game's developers has caught the public eye, leading one major community to eschew promotional coverage of the title. The game's latest controversy began when journalist Liam Robertson posted a Twitter thread highlighting that Hogwarts Legacy lead designer Troy Leavitt once kept a YouTube channel full of far-right content. Videos by Leavitt included a defense of men who were accused of sexual harassment, a defense of cultural appropriation, and discussions of whether or not thought crimes are a real thing. Some videos were also sympathetic of the Gamergate movement, which harasses women and marginalized groups in the video game industry under the guise of journalism ethics. The videos are several years old by this point, but they were enough to make headlines, especially since one of the videos claims that publisher Warner Bros. Is apparently aware of Leavitt's channel and political views. WB did not immediately respond to requests for comment. In 2018, Leavitt said that while Warner Bros. Does not endorse things said on his channel, quote, at least they seem more concerned with making good games than with pushing some kind of a social justice agenda, so there is hope, end quote. Before any of this unfolded, some of the gaming community already found itself reflecting on whether or not they could ethically support a game that could potentially put money in the pockets of a person who continually uses her platform to mock and dehumanize trans people. Many Harry Potter fans are trying to determine if it's possible to continue enjoying media set in the Wizarding World without also tacitly endorsing Rowling's views. Rowling, who is called a TERF by some critics, as in a trans-exclusionary radical feminist, is controversial enough on her own that some have decided not to buy the game, but Leavitt's involvement has tipped the scales even further for some. What a social justice agenda. How terrible. We just want everyone to live in better times. What a bunch of bastards we are.
Terrible people. We're absolutely
awful,
terrible
just
people.
horrible people.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we're not trying to keep everybody in the same cohesive bubble and understanding of each other. Interesting.
When you see white-winged people literally, apologies, I'm going to go a little political here, literally try and take over a capital in January, and all you complain about is us complaining that you were racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic twats. You're complaining about us when you tried to take over a capital and stop a vote.
It's almost like fear is a bad thing. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even going to go there. Never mind.
Feel free.
And you complain that us who just want diversify, and inclusion for everybody. The thing is about it, we want inclusion that includes you. Just so you know this, because we want it for everybody. These are idiots. And the morons, and I'm getting vexed by them. Seriously, piss off.
Well, no,
piss off, man.
Clearly, as a trans woman, I fight tooth and nail every day to, push straight white cis men out of society. That's why I'm currently doing a podcast with two of them. So clearly it's not working because there was only one last week and now there's two. So everything's gone horribly wrong.
See, so the White Wing's winning, ladies and gentlemen. See, White Wing is winning.
They're taking over my podcast with their agenda.
It's straight white people. That's what it is. That's what the White Wing's all about. So, Foxes, let's take over this joint.
Oh, dear.
With short hair, skinheads, and long beards. That's what we're all about. And everything like that. Yeah. Fuck off. That's all I'm going to say to all of yous there.
Yeah.
You can piss off. The whole thing of that, they just want to create great video games and everything like that. They didn't think this would come up and bite them in the ass, mate. I can guarantee you that right now. And if it is right now, I will be very surprised if you're going to be still there in 6 months' time.
We'll see. The funny thing is that it turns out that the Hogwarts Legacy game didn't even need J.K. Rowling to be involved with it.
I know.
Because it turns out one of the lead designers is, also a horrible human being. Having a Gamergate for a while, that was a fun throwback to a horrible time.
And also, let's just clarify one thing, ladies and gentlemen, and I literally will guarantee you this. J.K. Rowling has had her hands in this game because she would have been the one confirming everything that they could do for the script. Every single thing. She has her hands in everything when it comes to her property. Everything. If you don't think she had her hands in this game, she's not developing it, turning it into creating the worlds on the game and all like that, and the game mechanics and everything like that. But she's had her hands in on that script. Even if she doesn't get credits on it, she has got her hands in it, and I can guarantee you that.
That's true. I'm looking forward to seeing how people continually just continue after this to justify the, because I had that rant on Twitter a little while ago, maybe before I think it was before you logged off Twitter. After the TV show, I think it was, that was announced, and that one podcast that just fucking sent me in orbit. I'll be interested to hear what they've said about this, because I remember one of their things. It wasn't, oh man, how terrible for trans people that this is happening. It was, oh man, how terrible for the developers of the Harry Potter game that this is happening.
Don't think they've said a single thing. I can say that too.
That wouldn't surprise me, because, well, it turns out that one of the lead designers is very much the same, if not worse. So, oh no. I feel terrible for you. I really do. Sorry, Foxes. You may talk now.
No, you're perfectly fine. Just a little small note on like gatekeeping and Gamergate. I like, I've expressed quite a few things to my girlfriend Megan, and but not too extently on like the history of gaming, or like how it's been for a lot of different people who are trying to enter the world in gaming. Which, to be honest with you, I've always been a proponent of. I'll play with anyone. I don't fucking care, as long as you and I are nice to each other. We can be connected, cohesive. Very equal standing. I'm gonna game with you. I don't care. Like I will openly invite you, and I have no issue with that whatsoever. And it was actually, I think it was maybe about like 2 weeks ago, something like that. Megan's been getting really big into Animal Crossing, and she's been loving Stardew Valley. I was gonna call it Farmville, but that's a different game. Stardew Valley, and she's been finding she finding herself in different articles and different Reddit threads and so on and so forth to find new game find new things about this game. One thing she actually came to me. Sorry, I know this is a long rant, but one thing she actually came to me and said, and this was by her own accord. And to be honest with you, I was so proud, and I completely, utterly agreed with her the moment she had said it. She goes, "Why do so many fucking people, and mostly guys, gatekeep gaming?" And I was like, "Yup! Yup, it's a real fucking thing, and it happens all too damn often."
All the time.
Yep.
All the time. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you want to be playing games? How dare you consider yourself a true gamer because you haven't finished fucking Dark Souls or whatever the fucking game is these days.
It's almost like like I was talking about being a proponent of wanting to play with you. I also want to play with a wide array of different people who can either teach me things, or I'm going to teach them things about the game, and not be like, "Oh, you're not good enough and you haven't gotten to this level, we ain't playing." It's like, no, I want to help you out, and maybe you're going to help me out too, to be honest with you, in both aspects. And in all honesty, it still bothers the shit out of me. I can't. It grinds my gears. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I only play with people I know these days, purely for that reason. Or like
I don't blame
people who I know, who they know. I tend to trust the people that I play games with. Yeah, I don't go and play with randoms anymore, like ever. I did it once when I was playing Bloodborne, and that's because they couldn't talk to me.
No, fair enough.
We bowed, and that was our entire interaction.
That's amazing, actually. So sometimes the best of friendships don't even have to say anything, and you just game so well together, and you're like, that was awesome. That was amazing. Let's do that again. And we don't even have to say anything ever again. You just jump in, you fight, and then you get out.
Yeah. They died before the end of the boss fight, so I was like,
"Oh, rip."
Bye. Okay. Hades wins Game of the Year at the Gaming Awards. That's Gaming Awards. Hold on. I know this is the trans flag, but Gaming Awards. The first edition of the Gaming Awards took place on Twitch last night, with Hades winning the coveted trophy of Game of the Year. Supergiant Games has also won the Gaming Magazine Readers Award. Dreamfield's visual novel, If Found, published by Annapurna Interactive, won the Best LGBTQ Indie Game Award, as well as the Best LGBTQ Narrative Award. Don't Nod Tell Me Why also received 2 accolades, Best LGBTQ Character for Protagonist Tyler Ronan, and the Authentic Representation Award. Tanya DePass's non-profit foundation, I Need Diverse Games, which was part of the GI 100, won the Industry Diversity Award. Robin Gray, founder and editor of Gaming Magazine, commented, quote, I'm so proud to be able to say that we have held the world's first LGBTQ video game award show. 2020 was truly a watershed moment for LGBTQ inclusion in games, and to be able to celebrate it with everyone, although virtually, was amazing. Congratulations to all the winners, well done to all the nominees, and thank you again to all the sponsors. See you in 2022, end quote. 3 really good games.
Hades was a fabulous game.
Yeah.
Hades is an incredible game. Fox, if you haven't tried it, mate, give it a go.
I was actually just about to say that I love looking at that game, because every time I watch someone play, I'm like, this is a stunning game, and to be honest with you, I'm always interested, no matter what's going on in it. Yeah, I need to get around to playing it. I do.
Yeah.
48 hours and counting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're the one who talked about If Found. And
Yes.
I haven't installed. I haven't played it yet, but no, I hear nothing but great things. Tell Me Why. I love Tell Me Why last year. It was one of my favorite games last year, and the character Tyler Ronan was absolutely an amazing character.
If I remember rightly, Tell Me Why was one of your top 5 games.
I believe so. Yes.
If Found was one of my top 5 games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're both.
Hades was one of our top 5 games.
Hades was both our top 5.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so
I almost gave myself a hernia trying to decide whether it was number 1 or number 2.
Was it? Yeah, you were flipping between 1, 2, or 3 all the time for it, wasn't it? Because you had
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and Last of Us Part 2. Yeah,
obviously. But yeah, no, those are like 3 excellent games. Like, it's always nice when like I can look at some awards and not do what I do with the Game Awards, which is just go, what the fuck? Like, whereas with this, it was like, those are great games. Good job, Gaming Awards.
I actually haven't played any of these, and I didn't know actually about Tell Me Why or It Found. These both look really, really interesting and really good, actually.
Tell Me Why is on Game Pass. If you've got
it. Nice. Yeah.
PC for Game Pass as well. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. I think it doesn't seem like it's very long. How long?
3 episodes. 3 episodes. Okay. So I would say, depending how long you take, I would say it's 3 hours each episode. Depending how fast. I think I got done within I think I got all episodes done. So I'd say about 2 hours each for me.
Fair enough. If Found was about 2 or 3 hours, I think.
These look really, really interesting. I love their art styles, actually.
Oh yeah,
and obviously the 80s, like Amy said, is 48 hours long. So
at least I haven't finished it.
You need to complete it 10 times to get the real ending.
Like I said, and you'll hear a lot about this game on Monday. But Persona 5 Strikers is all I'm going to be playing for a while.
Sweet.
You know what, Foxes? I'm really glad that you're here. Because a US politician is trying to ban violent video games in Illinois. This is from Maquette over at Eurogamer.
Run.
Not for the first time, a US politician is seeking a ban on violent video games, and on this occasion, it's coming from a Democrat in Chicago. Illinois State Representative Marcus C. Evans Jr. is seeking to amend a 2012 Illinois law that bans underage children from accessing violent video games. If passed, HB 3531 would prohibit the sale of all violent video games in the state, with a penalty of up to $1,000 for those selling violent games. It would also modify the definition of a violent video game to one that, quote, allows a user or player to control a character within the video game that is encouraged to perpetuate human-on-human violence in which the player kills or otherwise causes serious physical or psychological harm to another human or an animal, end quote. How the fuck do you... How do you perpetuate psychological harm on an animal?
If you're Mario, you jump on them.
It's true. The bill would also expand the definition of serious physical harm to include a range of other types of violence, including, quote, motor vehicle theft with a driver or passenger present inside the vehicle when the theft begins, end quote. As the Chicago Sun-Times notes, the bill comes in the wake of increased carjackings in Chicago, with officers responding to 218 incidents in January alone. Representative Evans had apparently been contacted by Chicago resident Early Walker, who, aside from having an incredible name, also runs a towing company, an anti-violence organization called I'm Telling Don't Shoot, and started an initiative called Operation Safe Pump intended to prevent carjackings. Walker apparently reached out to several state legislators after noticing similarities between local carjackings and Grand Theft Auto.
Right, is this the early 2000s again?
Quote, I feel like this game has become a huge issue in this spectrum. When you compare the two, you see harsh similarities as it relates to these carjackings, end quote. Evans, meanwhile, said he hopes the bill will prohibit the sale of some of these games that promote the activities that we're suffering from in our communities, end quote. Yeah, there's a bunch of history on the case. We don't need that. But here's the ESA's response. Quote, while our industry understands and shares the concerns about what has been happening in Chicago, there simply is no evidence of a link between interactive entertainment and real-world violence. We believe the solution to this complex problem resides in examining thoroughly the actual factors that drive such behaviors rather than erroneously ascribing blame to video games based solely upon speculation, end quote. It's called Grand Theft Auto's fault. Hey,
if it was Grand Theft Auto, if Grand Theft Auto was truly at fault here, that means I would say over 50%, or I'm just going to say even higher, would have gone out and done carjacked the car and everything like that, because that Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the consistently best-selling games every single year. And we're sick of seeing it in the top 10 all the time, but it's always there.
It was only last year that it fell out of the top 10, like on the MPD, and like before that, it was in Game Pass for a while, it was still in the top 10. They gave it away on the Epic Games Store, it was still in the top 10. Like, they can give this game to people, and it still sells incredibly well.
I found the loophole.
What's the loophole?
I can play Doom as much as I fucking want. Because it's demons! It doesn't matter! They're not humans. They're not animals. They're just demons. And fuck them up. I have the power of Christ on my side and a shotgun.
Life has found a way, ladies and gentlemen. Life has found a way.
So does this mean like...
Oh my god.
Does this mean like you won't be able to buy Stardew Valley in Chicago? Like, because...
Yeah, because like you literally kill animals in that game.
Or, like, you even just putting them in pens, right? Like, surely that could constitute psychological harm to an animal.
I think technically the only game that you could probably play is Animal Crossing.
Sports games.
Or sports games, yeah. And racing. That's about
well, you say that, but, you know, if we're doing harm to human-on-human harm and we're playing a sports game, like, I don't know, let's say NHL, like, and I thoroughly decimate somebody, boom, with a big hit. Human-on-human harm, right? Football.
It's almost.
If I do the 2-foot tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
Human-on-human harm, right?
It's almost like we haven't come across this before, and the point still stands that, oh, hey, we want to keep throwing money and throwing time and resources at this issue because we think it's a fucking issue, i.e. violent video games, but yet we don't want to throw money at psychological evaluations, teachings, and understandings to people who are playing these video games way too much. I'm not like the biggest proponent of like video game addiction. I know it's a real thing. but I can't say that me personally. I may be addicted to video games and I don't really know it. To be honest with you, but personally, as just me as a person, whenever I play my video games, I have no if, ands, or buts about how this could be connected to my reality. It's fucking not. It's literally all fiction for me. And I can disassociate myself easily from that. And I know that some people have the hardest time doing that. And that's why you bring up a great point of we should be targeting and focusing on these people who can't disassociate and don't disconnect and, find health and help.
If only there was some kind of, I don't know, program or agenda, like aimed at social justice in some way. Like, I'm sure there's a way you could describe that a lot more snappily, but like that would probably help in a lot of these cases.
I'm not gonna lie though, Foxes, because of how crazy your politics is right now. I can see this bill pass.
Oh, for sure.
Poor Californians.
Like, it's Chicago. Like,
Chicago, sorry.
Imagine, just imagine, like, what would happen if you couldn't sell a violent video game in an entire city in America. Like, I'm morbidly curious as to what that would even look like and how that would be enforced.
Can guarantee you one of the Call of Duties would take the piss out of it.
Call of Duty, well, no one in Chicago could buy it. Either you could just drive to Boston, which I think is the next closest city, and just buy it there. But
I think so. It genuinely, like, because us as Americans, we've literally been through this, and I think Grand Theft Auto yet again was one of the proponents for the whole case study and the whole case in and of itself of, like, literally building a defense against, like, for video games and against video games, and the exact same things that you are saying are still it's almost like it's being ripped out of history and being like, hey, let's say all this again just because we fucking can. It's like, do you not realize we were here before and that we're still here in the exact same spot now? Like, in a sense of, like, you want to make this an issue when really we should focus on more important things, like mental health. But yeah, it kills me every time that a new state or, like, some politician, I don't even care what side you're on, that you just want to crutch. You want to look at something and you want to crutch. And sometimes it's video games. And to be honest with you, I'm still going to be like, what the fuck did Pikmin ever do to you?
The thing is about it that if this came into, like, a huge law when it impacted a lot of states, a lot of countries in general, this thing would change really fast because they would see how fast this is hurting the economy. Because the game industry throws a lot of money into the economy and helps the economy in a lot of ways. So I would literally see them changing that right away.
It would become more sort of like, it wouldn't be as broad as just even, like, the games industry and how big that industry is. It would just be more the fact that how many stores and places in Chicago that rely on selling video games. Because, like, let's be fair, you're either selling violent video games or you're not selling video games at all.
And to be honest with you, like, it would also affect the other ecosystems that are inadvertently or advertently attached to it, whether it be movies, TV shows, general brandware, or, like, whatever it is that you decide to, put your actual
that's true.
like stock in,
What would be the rules on this t-shirt?
What's the difference between a violent movie and a violent video game? There's no difference. Apart from that you play one. I
was going to say the interactivity is always the case, is always the argument. But, like, what happens when, like, this bill, which is never going to pass? I was watching a video a couple of weeks ago about the hearings from the 90s when it was Mortal Kombat and Sega and Nintendo. So, like, this happens all the time and it's never going to go anywhere.
It all comes up.
When the crime doesn't go down and the video games have been banned, what do you do then?
It's almost like sometimes some people get, a release and an understanding of escaping from their shittier, reality versus something that they can actually put some effort and time to and just be like, That actually kind of made me feel better. I got some stress out, or I had a fun time, and so therefore my serotonin feels better, and I can go deal with things that are shittier.
Yeah.
But the craziest about it, like even I know myself, is that who lives in the UK, Chicago's crime rate is very high, even without video games or anything like that. So like what you said, Amy, like it's like they'll just they'll argue it in whatever they need to say. If they don't, you ban us, what happens then if your crime doesn't go down? It'll still be up probably. So what, it goes down 1%? You think that's a success? Honestly, if it went down 1%.
Tons of places
Holy
closed
shit.
and a bunch of people
Now we gotta ban TV and movies, and that'll be the other 3% that we're looking for. Sorry.
And then, because just for the heck of it, we have to ban music.
Oh, once they've come for the games, they'll come for the rap and the metal, and it'll be Dungeons and Dragons. It's almost like this is a never-ending sexual cycle.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't alive for this time. Maybe you were, Moody, but I remember when Dungeons and Dragons was actually a threat to politicians for some fucking reason. And it's like, You are making it up in your head. You literally do that on pen and paper. Okay.
Like, I know, like, on Saturday, I will be hunting Amy and Ryan down in Among Us. Like, and I'll be drooling while I'm doing it to hunt them down and find them. I know this.
Fun story.
Give me pleasure.
Fun story. He's going to be streaming that as well. So the trailing
Yes, I
part is
Ooh,
interesting.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What day you said?
Saturday.
Okay.
Words About Games, twitch.tv /words about games.
Awesome.
Hit that follow button to find out when we go live.
Spoiler alert, 8:30.
I might go a little early.
I deleted the story because that took longer than I thought it was going to.
Well, you did add like another story to this as well, so. And then deleted one because I was being a fool.
Never had someone from America when we've talked about something stupid happening in America, so that was really cool. But now it's
yes,
Moody's
we
time to
Americans
shine.
be really stupid for some of us.
I mean, we can't really say anything anymore. Like,
I know we can't.
we used to be able to be like, you're so stupid. But I mean, have you seen what's happening in our country? Like, the rest of Europe literally calls us Plague Island.
Oh, rip.
And they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
And they just call us Plague Island just for our politicians alone.
Yeah, right. It's got nothing to do with COVID.
It's not about the COVID. I didn't like that.
Anyway.
And to be honest with you, they just call us the plague. So
Moody's going to read games out next week, which is my time. I take it.
Games out next week, ladies and gentlemen. 1st of March. Nothing. March 2nd. McQueen, I think. PC, PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 4. It does not like Xbox or the Nintendo Switch. It is a first-person puzzle game that takes you into the world where every building, plant, and object are simulated tiny and staggeringly huge. That's how it says on the little clip I have there. Harvest Moon, One World, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Doesn't like next-gen consoles, ladies and gentlemen. Like, come on, man, get ahead of the curve. Begin your new life with a whole world to explore. Manage and growing farms while exploring the world of adventure. Diverse cultures and friendships in Harvest Moon Open World, One World. Neptuna Virtual Stars, PlayStation 4. Literally doesn't like anything else other than PlayStation 4. Band together with virtual idols to save planet Emote in the music-based hack and slash. Nothing is coming out on March 3rd, ladies and gentlemen. March 4th, Loop Hero PC. A lich has thrown the world into a timeless loop and plunged its inhabitants into never-ending chaos. Wield an expanding deck of mystical cards like Yu-Gi-Oh! To place enemies. I added the Yu-Gi-Oh! Part. Buildings and tearing along each unique exploration loop for the brave hero. Do you think they can summon the Red Eyes Black Dragon, like the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
And
I
there's also
summon
nothing coming out.
Mewtwo. Wait.
Mewtwo. Nice.
No, that's tomorrow for the
That's tomorrow, yeah.
the Pokemon Direct, which we also haven't seen.
Maybe they'll announce the game that I'm hoping they will announce that I will then get for Fantasy Critic later this year.
What a great day! What a great day it's been to do a podcast when we're going to miss like half of the relevant news for the week.
I just thought about something. Do you think there might be news for Elden Ring?
No. It was announced on a Microsoft E3, so I highly doubt that it's going to be on a PlayStation State of Play.
When is Microsoft's?
They haven't said anything.
They haven't said
Okay,
nothing
fair
yet.
enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
they're keeping everything close to their chest right now.
They're waiting. I imagine they're waiting until they can talk about Halo before they do anything. Because I think that's just the crack. Anyway, I'm adding something to OpenCritic head-to-head. Fake spell. Because let's be real, like even if I add Foxes, he's only 1 point behind you, Moody.
You.
It's time for OpenCritic head-to-head. This is the game we play every single week where we try to guess the upcoming OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. I messed the intro up because I was laughing. Whoever gets closest gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. And last week we couldn't do Persona 5 Strikers because the reviews came out like 6 months before the game did. At least that's what it felt like anyway. So we did Bravely Default 2. I guessed it would get an 85. Moody guessed it would get a 70. I guessed it would get an 80. Moody guessed it would get a 75. And at the time of writing, Bravely Default 2 has an OpenCritic average of 79.
The worst thing is, I bet by the time we come round to the next podcast, it'll be at least 76 or 75 or something, and I'll be like, "Oh, you forgot 6, motherfucker."
I mean, that's not like that hasn't happened before.
Yeah,
multiple times. Usually to you.
Yeah,
it always seems to screw you over.
Yeah.
That puts the current scores at Amy 4, Mooney 1, with 1 draw. But I've added Foxes in. Because it would be rude to play a game and just leave him out of it completely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Even if he's not back next week.
He'll probably still somehow win. Like, we invite him
know,
back
that's the thing. He's going to pick the score, and he's going to nail it. He's going to hit the 2-pointer, and we know he is.
So this week, slim pickings for new games coming out. But I thought we could try Maquette, the
Annapurna game.
puzzle game from Annapurna Interactive. But who goes first? What do you reckon, Mooney? I'm still going to make you go first.
Fine.
Because I feel like it.
70.
70. You just default into 70 a lot these days, don't you?
I have no idea what this game is whatsoever. I've had a look at it, and it doesn't look like it'll. I don't think it'll go far for me personally.
What do you reckon, Foxes? Now that
I know
put you
that
on the spotlight.
Well, thank you. I know that there is quite a bit of people who really, really enjoy puzzle games, and whether it be first or third, I guess it doesn't really matter because there's still like quite a few people playing. Take the Witness, the Superliminal, and so on and so forth. Which actually, to be honest with you, this kind of gives me both vibes. Kind of like a mixture between the two. Not to really kind of like pin it on the point. But if I had to give this a score to do, I'd say. Honestly, let's bump up above Moody. Let's go 80.
There you are.
I guarantee I know where Amy's going to land now. I know where she's going to land.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Annapurna Interactive. Moody, we had a conversation about Annapurna Interactive at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Do you remember what that was about?
They have thrown out some good games. There's no doubt about this.
Literally, whoever signs games for Annapurna Interactives, I think if I remember correctly, my quote was, they need a raise, a bigger office, a bigger desk, a promotion, a new car,
a new house,
a wife
for that house.
Yeah. I love Annapurna Interactive games. And if you actually go and look at the list of games they've published in the last few years, there's some phenomenal games on there. So my guess was always going to be an 82.
Well, I thought you were going in the middle of 75 and be 75.
Look, I always pick my scores before you
You
guys
do.
say anything, unless I roll dice. That one time I rolled dice.
Yeah, she rolled the dice for Marvel's Avengers and she got a 90, 91?
97.
A 97.
Is Annapurna doing the cat game?
They
are.
Right, they are, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
All right, I know what I'm playing. I remember seeing the reveal trailer for it and just being like, I can play a game as a cat. Yeah, all right, I'm ready. Yep.
I think everyone said that. I won't lie.
They're also doing 12 minutes.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that too, actually.
Cool. That's it. We're done.
Just so we know, ladies and gentlemen, even though we are finishing, the PlayStation 5 State of Play has begun.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I'm gonna finish this podcast. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a drink. And then I'm gonna sit
Wow,
down.
Halo Infinite looks amazing!
I'm gonna sit down in my pajamas.
They've got a jump mechanic! They've got a running mechanic!
You know I can mute you, right? We've been down this road before.
I know. I'm not saying anything, don't worry.
It's a little bit more complicated because I can't just mute the entire Discord because Foxes is here now. But that's gonna do it.
It is, yeah. Thank you for joining us, Foxes, mate.
I was glad to be here. This was fun.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I've missed podcasting with you, mate. Like I said to you.
Yeah, I missed it too.
I don't know when mine's going to be coming back, if it's coming back at all. I haven't really decided on that. And like I've said many times to Amy, this doesn't feel like work. This just feels like I'm just chatting with friends, and I enjoy it. Not like WoW wasn't enjoyable. I was realizing before, obviously, everything happened really privately. It was feeling like work, and I said to myself, if it started doing that, I would stop it for a while. So
I don't blame you. And like I like telling everyone, you take your time, boo boo.
Mm-hmm.
Aww. I'm happy I facilitated this mini reunion. For me, it was just like being on the Glorious Movie Show, except I had talked more.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We do happen to mix quite a few games into it.
Because as Moody can attest, I don't really watch that many films.
Right now, neither do I.
Games are just bad. No, it was fun having you on. It was nice.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome back anytime. In fact, I might just start inviting you every week and see what happens.
Sweet.
It's not like we don't record at the same time every week.
Wait, but didn't you say at the beginning of this podcast we're taking it over? Don't you want to get rid of me because you don't want a +1?
That's a good point, actually. Moody, you're fired.
Oh,
sweet.
Oh.
Adios. But just remember, ladies and gentlemen, just remember one thing. Give us 2 seconds.
Yeah, he's gonna get the belt, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gonna get the belt.
I am the champ of OpenCritic.
You are currently losing
You're nothing.
by 3 points.
The champ is here.
See, now you have to get something that's a representation of you winning since you're currently winning.
Well, I won Fantasy Critic, so I can just get myself a Fantasy Critic trophy if I wanted to, and be like,
but
there you go.
I won Fantasy Critic like halfway through 2020. Everybody else put up quite a bad, pathetic fight in that one.
I did all right for my first go.
It was my first go as well.
No, it wasn't. You had the go before. That's the year before, didn't you?
No.
I thought it was.
No, this
my
was
apologies.
our first league. But yeah, no, Foxes. You're as far as I'm concerned, there is a third chair on this podcast with your name on it. How about that? And you can come and go as you please. Moody, you have to stay and be here all the time. Sorry.
It's all right for me. I don't mind doing that.
All right, let's get out of here because we've got.
I said to Amy a while ago, just tell me when I've outstayed my welcome. And she hasn't said it yet. Even though I feel like I've crossed the line a few times, she still hasn't said it.
Well, because I kind of see what the schedule is now, or the repertoire, I should say, is that you two are quite cordial and nice to each other here, but as soon as it gets to Phasmophobia or Among Us, it's I'm coming for you.
That's the greatest voice you've ever said.
More or less, that's pretty much it. Like once we have to try and cooperate with each other in a video game, all bets are off.
Like I still haven't forgiven her when she literally stopped me from getting into the next level of Fall Guys, but then I had to let her kind of forgive her because she won the freaking level. She got the crown at the end, so I still kind of haven't forgiven her for that because she basically threw me under the bus to get to the end.
I will ask for one tiny favor from you, Amy. Whenever you get a chance, and make sure not to tell Moody, just throw a sticky nade like right at the back of his head.
Gotcha. I'm pretty good with those sticky nades.
Just be like, is that a spider on my head?
10 out of 10 reference. I understood that.
Thank you. Yes, someone got
it. What is it? A spider? Get it off. Get it off.
Get it off. Yeah. And Moody's like, "What's red versus blue?"
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
It's like, oh, we're playing Halo this week? That's weird. Right, let's get out of here. We got PlayStation. We got PlayStation adverts to watch.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.